Welcome to Comics League Justice League Rewatch. This very special live discussion of the season 1 finale, The Savage Time. I'm here with
I am Phoenix.
the Phoenix Press. What's up, brother?
Hello there.
General Kenobi. So today we are talking about the finale of Justice League Season 1. So the way this is going to work is that we'll talk about the arc first, then we'll talk about our thoughts on Season 1 in general. So, Nick, I want to start with you. Your thoughts on this special three-parter?
Pretty good. I'd say it's above average. Like nothing like amazing, but pretty good.
I will say my thing about this is that this reminds me of like this arc having the Justice League fight against the German army in World War II. This reminds me of like Golden Age comics, because that's what they really had them doing during World War II. They had like the Leaguers, or at that time the Society, the Justice Society, supporting the Allied war effort overseas. So this is kind of a cool little nod to that.
And they bring in some World War II era characters, which we'll get to that later.
Yeah, like a certain Hawk and a certain Company.
And a certain spy.
Spy that I'm like, can someone blow him up, please? Stop being more... he was just as pervy as he is in the comics, too. That's the other thing.
Oh... We will get to that.
We'll get to that. And I got a very special clip that I prepared just for today. I'm not going to play it yet because I'm waiting for the right moment.
Okay.
But anyway, so this episode, basically, Vandal Savage goes back into... who's Vandal Savage? Vandal Savage is an immortal. The way his origin works is that he's from the caveman era of Earth. Meteorite lands, not kryptonite, and it sort of changes him. It makes him super intelligent, but also makes him immortal. So he goes throughout time. And so in this episode, Vandal goes back in time, brings with him all this technology, and rewrites history. So we get like a dystopian United States with a RoboCop Batman. I call him RoboCop Batman because that's what he looks like.
It's actually really interesting how little Batman is in this thing.
But remember, this is actually one of the few arcs that feature all the Justice League. At least the original 7.
I'd say asterisk to that.
Well, I'm not saying the entire arc. I'm just saying all of them show up.
Again, asterisk.
All right, explain.
Literally, he is not in there for the entirety of part 2. He literally shows up in the beginning of episode 1, a little bit, like probably the first act of episode 1, and then he's totally gone for episode 2, and he shows up at the tail end of episode 3. It is like just by the barest of margins that you can consider him in there.
Okay, but
it's a glorified cameo, honestly.
Okay, that works. I still like RoboCop Batman. I want that as a
McFarlane figure. I'm not saying that isn't awesome. I'm just trying to,
Yeah, I still want that as an action figure. So I think that'd be super cool. And then we get to like they go back in time to World War II, and they're in the middle of basically D-Day or like some Allied invasion of like France, and it's like everything looks normal up until you see like the Germans show up in like these General Grievous ball things with guns. That's what they look like.
Commander, where are the droid cars?
Yeah, Master Destroyers. But and what's actually really cool, I liked how in this episode John's ring runs out of power and he has to act like a regular GI.
They telegraphed that pretty well. Like they said in the opening of the episode, like, hey, my ring's running out of juice. We got to get back. Like they set it up pretty well. I'll give them that.
Yeah, so that was really fun. I liked how they did that. And let's see. Another thing that I really enjoyed again is the use of the JLA in the World War II, because I mean, here's the thing though. You have Superman There's a reason why. I mean, he could have just ended this war like that.
Yeah, like that's kind of one of the problems I had is this three-parter is really inconsistent with how it scales Superman. Like, I'm sorry, but like that like whatever glass that was, Superman should have been able to punch through it. Like him trying to like he should have been able to single-handedly take down those roller tanks. Like they acted like he wasn't able to defeat him without like the help. Like I get why, but they scale him up and they like it's one thing if you want to scale down a hero, but like when you scale him up, scale him down to whatever the plot requires
in one episode too. That's the thing.
Remember, this is the same series where he does his World of Cardboard speech and then just wrecks Darkseid.
Yeah, I know. Which, by the way, is one of the best moments of Superman moments.
Oh, I'm not denying that. I'm just pointing out I don't like how his scaling is inconsistent, and this is something that's been like we'll get to this and we'll get to like the whole season thing, but that will be one of my complaints.
Yeah, and that's the way it's always been with the DCAU Superman. That's my problem with him too. Is that they're very inconsistent in how they scale him, like throughout the entire run of the series.
Like if you want to scale down his powers to make him more relatable, that's fine. I got no issue with that. That's fine. But at least make it consistent because, like the number one card. Like, and by the way, this is my advice to any upcoming writers. Whatever rules you set for your universe, stay consistent. Like if you say superhero can't do X because of Y, then that must always be the case. Because the minute you break that baseline, because it's one thing to make up your own rules, but if you break your own rules, then what's the point of even having rules? Like it's just
Yeah, you just invited a whole little very massive hole in your story that people are going to point out.
Yeah, that's my advice to any upcoming writers is, make logic, keep your own logic.
Yeah, and again, that's my issue because they go back and forth. Even in this episode where like, even things that are so simple, like he gets shot with like some bullets and then they like bounce off him, but he gets shot with other bullets from vehicles. He like goes, he like gets launched back. And I'm like, wait a second here.
Oh, no, it's even worse because you could make the argument that like small arms don't affect him, but artillery does. The thing is, there's one moment where he gets hit with small arms fire and he goes, and there's another moment in this same story arc where he gets hit with small arms fire and he's like, oh.
Hey, Tristan, what's up? Yeah, that's, again, that's the DCAU is the universe of inconsistencies. Even with Green Lantern, whenever he's like really powerful or like not that powerful, but I mean, I'm willing to like look beyond that for good stories. And yeah, they have provided obviously some of the best DC storylines ever.
I will say, Superman's inconsistent power levels, it does take me out of the story a little bit, and
for this one, yes, because here's the thing. There's a reason why they never showed Superman actually like in a battlefield of World War II in the comics, because they said the minute you put Superman in World War II, the war's over.
Yeah, it'll be over in a day.
They did a short comic, I think, in the day where it's like, here's how Superman would end the war. He just flies to Germany, grabs Adolf, flies to Japan and Russia, and grabs Stalin and Hirohito and brings before the World Court. War's over.
Yeah, like that's something that like I think writers have always had a problem with. Like, what was Superman to do to end these big issues? Like, for example, that's the whole point of Superman 4: Quest for Peace. It's like Superman forcibly like, yeah, it's a bad movie, but it also comments on shouldn't Superman be doing this to help the world, and it just shows that doesn't really work out.
And you mentioned that movie, so
why did you say that name?
Mention that, so there you go. It's like, hey, what's up, Tevia? But I mean, okay, so beyond that, I did okay. So, and again, that's my problem with using Justice Leaguers in wartime, and that's my problem. Like in Son of Kal-El, when they have John Kent fighting climate change, I'm like, you realize that you have like 8,000 characters in DC that could end climate change like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's kind of why I brought up the movie that must not be named, is because like you have these, and it kind of factors into what we're talking about here. It's like these big issues, these superheroes. It doesn't work.
That's why personally I can't. That's one of the reasons why I'm against whenever these writers make these characters do things like this. Because guess what? It doesn't work. It's not the same as this world. Yeah, the whole Seneca is bad. Yeah, we all know another reason why you don't like Seneca, but you're right, Tevye. You're right, Tevye. But moving on, another thing I liked about this is when they capture Martian Manhunter, and then he disguises interrogator leaves. We don't even see him break out. We just see the guy walk out, and he goes, "Don't let anyone in that room again," and he just runs away.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the useless character that shows up in this show, which is a carryover from Golden Age comics, which I was really hoping wouldn't show up in this show, but okay. It's the most useless DC character, even more useless than Lois Lane, Stephen Trevor.
Oh, your hate boner is strong with you. Oh.
Yeah, let the hate flow through you. But it's because, again, he's useless in the show. He makes unwanted passes at Diana, and I'm like, thank you for reminding me why I don't like Steve.
Actually, I'd say that Wonder Woman was kind of into it.
Not in the beginning. He kept pushing.
Also, before we get into this, I have to do my duty and point out a Wonder Bat moment.
Okay.
When they're about to jump in the portal. I know you got the finger on the clip, but this is going to be worth it.
You're not going to see this clip coming.
Before we jump in the portal, Diana takes like a look back at Bruce, like, oh, Bruce, and then
she doesn't know if she'll see him again. It doesn't mean romantic attachment. And by the way, because you mentioned that, here you go. From the man himself.
Batman doesn't do ships.
I told you wouldn't see. I was rewatching the Lego Batman movie last night, and as soon as that came up, I'm like, I am clipping the hell out of that.
I gotta say, well done.
Yeah, I knew it because I'm like, oh, that's it. That's what I need. There you go. As soon as he said
you're gonna get so much mileage out of that.
As soon as he said ships, I was like, oh, I'm using this.
You are gonna get so much use out of that clip.
Oh, I can't. That's gonna be my new That's gonna be my intro for J-Heat. But anyway, yeah. I think Steve Trevor was great in the series, even though he's in there for like an episode. But what I did like at the end, they brought him to where he was in the traditional comics, and the part where I think he worked better, the old man who's a father figure to Diana. Yeah, there you go. That's the way he works well, because when you look at Steve Trevor, he's out of place in the Wonder Woman world. Because what is a normal soldier going to do against the God of War? At least in the Wonder Woman movie, they did say when they see Ares coming up, and then when the soldiers goes, "What do we do, Steve?" and he goes, "If that's what I think it is, there's nothing we can do." I'm like, "Thank you for admitting you are useless."
Yeah, Steve works in a war setting, like as kind of like Steve's kind of like one Diana's like linked to the real world, I like Steve works in like World War I, World War II, or even like a Vietnam. Like you want to have Wonder Woman in Vietnam, you could do that. Or honestly,
now that would be cool. Actually,
here's what you could do. If you want to have like a Desert Storm or Iraq War, or version, have Steve Trevor be a soldier in that war.
Well, he was a SEAL in current continuity.
But I'm just saying, if you want to have it set in more a modern setting.
That's why I say Steve's usefulness ends as soon as she leaves the island and comes to man's world. That's where his usefulness, because I get he's there, he makes her come to man's world. That's fine. I get that. Once they leave that island, his usefulness is at an end. He honestly fits in pretty well with Batman.
Unless it's a war scenario. Unless there's actually a war going on.
Again, what is he going to do against the God of War?
He did plenty of, if you want to go back to the movie, he's the one who got the plane and did that. He was, Steve Trevor he's not fighting side by side with Deanna. He's the one, taking care of the soldiers in the background while she's fighting him.
But she doesn't need that anyway. That's the thing. His purpose.
Let's table this for another.
That's honestly a really good. That honestly would be a really good UTC topic because it's kind of funny. Again, I mentioned this when I did the Lois Lane is useless video, and I followed up with the Steve Trevor. The Steve Trevor one was everyone's like, yeah, he is. Because here's the thing, he could work better in Batman because Batman's more grounded. Batman's more planted in reality.
I'd say he's even more useless in Batman because he doesn't have like the extensive training. Like, what are you gonna do? Make him Robin?
No, I mean just like as like a liaison with Batman. It's like for a story where like he and Batman have to stop like some Gotham terrorists or something like that. He has counterterrorism training.
I could maybe see him working in a Superman book, or I don't know.
Well, Superman's the same thing because what's he gonna do against Parasite or General Zod?
Well, I take that back then, but like I don't want to see him working well in Batman just because like he's just a regular soldier, you know.
That's why he doesn't work with Wonder Woman when she leaves the island.
We can have that discussion,
which we will.
I think
which we will.
We're kind of getting a bit sidetracked, you know.
But anyway, that's what happens when I see characters I genuinely loathe. But the story was okay. I like the. I get the whole. I get the story they were trying to tell with that character. I was fine with that. Then we get like GL trapped behind Green Lantern, which basically turns into Behind Enemy Lines, which I dug. I really like this one because it gives danger. Because Steve, right now GL has no charge in his ring. He could die.
Yeah, and
he was just looking at a new 52. Actually, it did work. Tevye again. That series did pretty well. It's just again they struggle to find ways to make Steve work.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Steve is a character that like you gotta work really hard to make work, and you ask the question, is it worth the effort?
But again, there's a simple way to make this work. I say this every single stream. Make a book, regular soldiers doing regular soldier stuff in a world with superheroes. Because that's honestly a great story to tell. Because
I still think a Sergeant Rock book with Steve Trevor and Rick Flag's dad would be pretty interesting.
They had in the new 52, Nick, they had an Easy Company book that was in the modern warfare era, so they could just do that.
Speaking of Easy Company,
yeah, okay, we're gonna talk about this because we're actually in here. So
I'm sorry, you set up the segue perfectly.
Yeah, and that was unintentional, by the way. So John Stewart's Behind Enemy Lines. He runs into Sergeant Rock and Easy Company. And he like dons the U.S. Army
they didn't
stuff and goes
mention
to
it
war.
was Sergeant Rock though. They didn't say he was Sergeant Rock though.
But it's Easy Company, so I think for right now, for the purpose of this discussion, he's Sergeant Rock. How's that? Okay, I think they even call him Sarge. So I'm like, yeah, there you go. Which basically turns into like the A-Team and like any Easy Company book, any like any traditional war book. But what's kind of funny is that also
if you can afford, these people, if you can find them, and if you can afford them.
Yeah, exactly. But and then also it's like the scene where John hops on the motorcycle and flies and goes out to the plane. I got major Captain America: The First Avenger vibes from that. Particularly them like staying behind. I'm like, yeah, this is Captain America, which I'm fine with because it's Jon Stewart.
I mean, this was like 10 years before that movie, though.
Yeah, but still, I was like, I'm sure they were somewhat inspired by that. But anyway, it was so cool because again, it's like a war movie. I felt like I was watching Band of Brothers, particularly with like that one soldier that was like going, "You're not such a big man without your ring." I really dug that, and the way that like John had to earn the other guy's respect, because to a certain degree, yeah, they do get kind of complacent. It was up Teledia, using their rings, and a lot of Green Lanterns struggle not being able to use their rings. In other words, if you know, if you catch my drift on that.
Yes, performance anxiety does tend to be an issue.
Sergeant Rock, democratically elected manlier than Batman. No one's manlier than Batman. Dennis, absolutely not.
So, would you say that Sergeant Rock goes hard?
Oh my gosh, that's a rock
I actually got you to laugh at that
rock slide of a joke. That's a rock slide of a joke.
Can you smell what the Sergeant Rock is cooking?
God.
I'm making you laugh.
So
That makes it worth
anyway,
it.
we also had tell that to the voters. What voters? I've never seen that vote though. That's the thing.
Citation desperately needed.
Yeah, citation is needed. You can't make claims that back them up. But anyway, we also got, speaking of World War II characters, the Blackhawks, which are like a bunch of fighter pilots from the occupied countries that are fighting back against Germany. It was cool.
Dennis, if you want to drop the link to the poll, we'll be glad to look at it.
Yeah, drop it to me on Discord. But anyway, so what'd you think of? I loved when the Hawks first show up. Hawker looks at their logo and kind of smiles, and Superman goes, "Friends of yours? They are now." World War II Top Gun starring refugees. Yeah, pretty much. That's actually really good. So you're telling me they got the need for speed? I beat you to it, Nick. I beat you to it, Nick.
Well, they could tell you, but then they'd have to kill you.
Is that from Top Gun?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen one in a while, so that's why I'm like...
Oh, it's so good.
I know it's so good. I know it's so good.
Okay, this has nothing to do with the episode, but, like, I gotta say, like, my favorite line. Slider, you stink. It's like, it just comes out of nowhere, and I just love it.
War is fantastic. War movies are fantastic, not the actual war.
What is a good war?
But
absolutely nothing.
So what do you think of Vandal Savage freezing Adolf? That was interesting.
I guess you could say it was pretty savage.
Yeah, but it's also at the end, if you notice, when they defeat Savage, the timeline goes back to the way it's supposed to be, with the Germans going, "Let's unfreeze this guy."
Yeah.
So I'm like,
I guess you could say they're about to kick some ice.
They're about to break the ice. Oh, you know what's kind of funny?
Allow me to break the ice.
This is the first timeline that's not messed up by a speedster.
So Barry did not mess up the timeline.
Well, Barry's dead at this point, remember?
Okay. Let me rephrase that. So Wally did not mess up the timeline.
Yes, exactly. Wally did not. You know, it's kind of funny. Don't beat yourself up, because even Ladd thought that was Barry Allen. And I'm
Run,
like,
Wally, run.
Yeah, they say Wally in the show many times. I'm like, how? And he goes, I don't know. I never heard that. They even have that scene at the season finale, season 2, which I'm sure you've seen on YouTube, so I'm not spoiling anything, where Batman outs the secret identity of everyone. He goes, Bruce Wayne, Clark Kent, Wally West.
Yeah, that was a good scene.
Savage facing Hitler is funny. Yeah, it is really funny. I like that one.
I guess you could say that Savage fridged him.
Oh gosh. Speaking of Ms. Marvel, anyway.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm full of bad jokes today.
Vandal Savage went to the Einstein School of Time Travel, Command and Conquer reference.
You're saying that Vandal has a hidden cache of Tiberium?
Most likely. Are you saying begun the Tiberium Wars have? But anyway, before we get into a pun off.
That was clever.
Thank you. I had to do this. So, all in all, this arc was pretty cool, particularly as a war movie. Even though my one issue with it, the reason why I give it an 8.5 out of 10, it's still entertaining, it's still awesome. The 1.5 I'm taking off is superheroes in World War II that are just as useful, that the war does not automatically go in the Allies' favor. They didn't even have they don't even have to kill the Germans in order to turn this war around. I'm not saying the superheroes should kill. I'm saying you could literally end this war, particularly you, Superman and Wonder Woman and Martian Manhunter could turn the war around like that, ignoring the Flash.
I mean, the Flash could end the war in like 5 seconds.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, any of these Justice Leaguers could end the war. Like, it's not like in Marvel, because in Marvel, since a lot of the characters are like human beings that have like some augmentation, these guys are straight up gods.
Like, I'm sorry, but like, have you seen some of the X-Men? Like,
Yeah, I know. Yeah, ignoring the X-Men, I was more referring to Avengers, but still.
like you put people like Thor, the Hulk, like they can do some damage.
War's over. If you put the Hulk in the middle of World War II and just say, just move to Germany, war's over. That's it. We're done.
Hey, Hulk, you see that city over there? That's Berlin. Smash.
Smash anything that has the swastika on it. You're good. Go ahead.
Yep.
We will give you a wait, Hulk. You know how we always yell at you for causing destruction? No, in this case, it's fine.
Like, if you want to just flatten all of Berlin, go for it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. But they did that as a parody of here's why we can't put Superman in World War II. I mean, they said it for two reasons. Number one, there is no Superman to end the war, and it's disrespectful to the sacrifices of the people in the war. And second off, the war would end in like 2 minutes. It was actually 2 pages. Is that comic? I have a copy of it in one of my books.
Yeah.
Yeah, because again, you have these characters are like insanely low. That's my one issue with this episode. I'm like, this should have been over in like 2 minutes. But anyway, Nick, your thoughts on this arc real quick before we start a general season 1 discussion.
Okay, this is gonna be like the rare instance where I have a higher score than you.
Really?
Like, yeah. So going into this stream, I was going to rate it a 9.5, but talking to you, I think I'm going to take off half a point and I'm going to rate this a 9.
Mm-hmm.
Simply because it was very enjoyable, very well done. Start to finish, I thought they did a really good job. So, yeah.
Yeah, you know
like
what? I'll change it to a 9. I'll change it to a 9 because
no, you don't have to.
No, because now I'm thinking about it, it was very enjoyable. I loved it, as particularly the war parts with like GL on the front lines, and let me put it this way: taking off 1.5 points for the whole superheroes in World War II is a little unfair, based upon the enjoyment I had for this. I'll just give it a 9.
Okay.
Yeah, because hearing you talk about, I'm like, yeah, it's not that bad in terms of that. But all right, now let's get to season 1 discussion in general. So, Nick, your thought as someone that hadn't watched season 1 of Justice League so far, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm just gonna kind of start off, rip off the Band-Aid, and say, on average, all episodes kind of being in the mix. Overall, I give this season an 8.0 because some were good, some were not so good, but they all kind of average out to about an 8 in my mind. Now that's not my mathematical thing, like me taking all the swords and averaging them up. That's just me, my personal kind of like thing. The standalone thing, I think, actually kind of detracts from the season because you don't really get much character development for these characters, like nowhere near the same as you would if it was like serialized. I get why they did that.
Season 2 does a little better with that, particularly with John and Shiera.
Because the problem with this as a finale is it's just a bigger version of what they regularly do. This doesn't feel like a final episode of the season. It doesn't feel climactic. Like nothing big happens. There's no status quo changing stuff. It's just a bigger version of what we're getting before. It's like it's like there's no like end to it.
Now, if I could change this, what I would do is I would have teased like Savage having a time machine and stuff throughout the season, and then had this be the final thing. In other words, I would have done more to connect these arcs together and say like Vandal Savage behind the scenes.
You would have done the Buffy method where it's like you have standalone episodes, but each episode kind of contributes a little towards the overall plot of the season.
Yeah, because I think in that way, I agree with you that is a weakness, and I think that's the way they could have like improved it a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Like the individual story arcs were fine. They were good. Varying quality, of course, but like the fact that it's all very disjointed does kind of detract from it to a significant degree, in my opinion.
Yeah, and again, season 2 significantly. You have to pay attention, but they do have moments that eventually add up to the final arc of season 2,
Mm-hmm.
which again, season 2 goes into unlimited.
Oh, nice.
Yes, so in other words, we're almost at unlimited. So my thoughts. So again, I agree with you that, well, here's the thing. There were no bad arcs. There were no arcs that I hate and that I think that, no, this sucks. No. They were all either average or awesome, at least in my opinion. And I think that's particularly the one that was talking about gender with the Wonder Woman arc, because that could have easily gone downhill real fast, particularly with us talking about modern entertainment. And we talked about this on that episode. That completely blew me away because I hadn't seen that arc in a while.
Yeah, that one deserves applause.
That one deserves it. Some people think the War World arc was mediocre. It was kind of, but if you're, it contributed only really to the John and Shiera part. But in terms of like, I did like how each arc, even though it was a Justice League show, they still devoted an arc to each character to like give them their own like moment in the sun, because that's a problem with team stuff, is that you oftentimes don't have a lot of time for every character to get their due.
Yeah, for sure.
Have we gotten a Batman one? I don't think so. Well, he did get his own show, so that's why. That's why I was thinking about that. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's why. That's why.
Yeah, like on also we never really got a Superman arc either. So
because they got their own shows again, so they're probably like, they have their own shows. You know who these characters are. Let's focus on like Wonder Woman, The Flash. I still think Wonder Woman deserved her own animated show in this universe, though.
It was kind of late in the game, honestly, because by the time Justice League rolled around, all the other shows were canceled, and this was like the only thing in town.
I do think that James Gunn confirmed that like they are going to do a Wonder Woman animated series, like an actual Wonder Woman animated series. So I'm like, okay, cool. Dennis says, hot take: I'm not the biggest fan of the DCAU except BTAS. That's God tier Diesel Punk. Thank you. But that's mostly because I'm a diehard Clark and Lois shipper. No discussion, Jared.
Wait,
they did bring them together. What are you talking about,
Dennis? Are you saying you don't like Batman Beyond?
And by the way, Dennis, this is for you, buddy. This is really for you. Thank you. Lois and Clark does not work. Watch my video. But and they never got them together. They did. They 100% did.
Yeah, I don't think Clark and Lois got together in DCAU.
They did.
Oh, okay.
They did. At least in Justice League, they were together. Trust me, I know that's going to be a big check off on a lot of my stuff. But off screen, yeah, but they were still together. We don't have to keep seeing them. We don't have to constantly see the same story of them getting together and over and over and over again. That's the thing. The creators were probably like, yes, we know Clark and Lois are together. Let's just skip that part. You know how it happens. Which, to a certain degree, that's putting too much assumptions on like the audience's knowledge of Superman. But still, I'm like, at this point, because most of their audience has probably seen the Superman movie or like exposed to Superman in some way. They know that they're gonna get together. Yeah, we've done that too many times at this point. Yes, exactly. Just have them be together. That's it. We're done. Let's just say it's off screen. But anyway, I don't want to get into a Lois Lane discussion because trust me, that's going to play into actually some episodes of season 2. So in terms of in terms of how I would rate season 1, I'm gonna give it no. That's why Man of Steel is better. No stupid 2-person love triangles. Where was? Oh yeah, the Bruce and Lois love triangle in the movies. Yeah, I know. And so not even the Snyderverse. In this, there was a Bruce and Lois love triangle with Clark.
Yeah, but that was just during like the what was it, like a 2-parter, like crossover kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like,
and
that
here's
was
the
just-
thing, though.
She dumped Batman, like, when she found out. So, remember that.
And here's the thing, though. That's just Batman flirting. Batman flirts with everyone.
They also did go out on a date, and there was romantic feelings.
Oh, okay. Well, that would have been
Also,
better.
if this was a PG-13 movie, they would have.
Yeah, you would have. Yeah, and I'm like, okay, cool. That's right, Lois. Go with him. Go with him. Be gone with you.
Oh my God, are you saying
We have
that
about a
you're,
couple more years until Superman's actual soulmate shows up.
Wait, are you saying you're a Lois shipper?
If it gets her away from Clark, yes.
All right. Jared is a Lois
That's why
shipper.
Bruce Timm pushed Wonder Bat. And by the way, Talati, I got a special clip for you, dude. I got a Nick knows what I'm pulling
Roll the
up.
clip.
Where is it?
Batman doesn't do ships.
Isn't that awesome?
That is so great.
I know, right? I moved it all the way to the top of my clips because I know I'm gonna use
Okay,
that.
okay. I have to know. What did you label it as?
All right. I label it as Batman ships.
But he doesn't do shit.
I may have, you know what? I'm gonna change it to No Wonder Bat. There you go.
It's kind of like how my F off Bard, I label it as F off Jared.
So many of my like neck is pissing me off drops, I just label as Nick. In your dreams. Very nice dreams. Thank you very much. Wait till later. Oh yeah, you mean the show that they're gonna end, the season that they're gonna end on a cliffhanger, even though it's not determined if they're gonna get a season 4? I hate it when creatives do that. They don't say, let's just end it right now in case. That always pisses me off.
Or at the very least, give people an ending, but like leave it open. Like you give people an ending, but like it's open if you want. If you want to do a season 4, you can. But you just, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the way you got to do it in these situations.
Kind of like the Snyder Cut, kind of. Because they end that movie in a way that's like, okay, the Justice League is formed. It's ended in a way that they could just cap it off or just continue on. I still think they're going to continue on. Don't get me wrong, but that's just my point. But in terms of what we had to look forward to in season 2 brings in the multiverse. That's all I'm going to say there. In one component, they use the multiverse.
You're really gonna lord it over me. Where is the justice in all this?
That's actually not bad. Nice. I like that one. Well,
Yeah,
the
he's
Justice
like,
Lord arc. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Exactly. So wait till later. Oh yeah, I can't wait till Audia. Also, the New Gods. Oh yeah, we get New Gods in arc 2. I still say, if you guys want any explanation on who the New Gods are, go to S-TAS and the Apocalypse Now arc. Just watch those 2 episodes.
Right.
You are good to go.
All right, so let's tell everybody what happens next. Okay.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Nick.
So on this channel, like next week, we're gonna start season 2. Like, we're not gonna be missing.
That's happening.
Yes, but the other big thing is on my channel, we're restarting the Avatar rewatch, and as a nice little kind of thing to kind of get us back in the mood, this Friday, as part of the Friday Night Frenzy, me, Jared, and possibly some other people are going to be doing a live rewatch of the movie that does not exist in Ba Sing Se.
Oh, you mean the M. Night Shyamalan Avatar? I didn't see it.
There is no movie in Ba Sing Se.
Yeah. No, it exists. It exists.
And we are going to watch it, and we are going to cringe, and you can join us in our pain and
Or you mean
watch
the
along with
fart airbending?
I need to just send you a clip from Legend of Korra.
No, I know what you're I think I know what you're talking about, or something. But my point is that was what the honest trailer said about airbending in that movie. It looks like farts. That's gonna be a fun train wreck. Yes, thank you. Yes, it is. It is.
Yeah. So we aren't streaming the movie itself. We're gonna be streaming our reactions to it. So like, if you want to like start the movie and watch along with us, you can. But you'll be seeing our reactions to it. Like that.
It's
that's
pretty
how
much the way I did like the rewatch of Justice League or and all that stuff. Same concept. Just again, we can't watch the movie because it is copywritten. But yeah, so you will. I don't know why anyone would want to take copyright over that train wreck, but that's besides the point. So as Comics League stands, nothing changes. We're just adding in more content on Nick's channel for you guys.
Yeah, and then on Monday, so the way the schedule is going to work from here on out is on Tuesdays, you're still getting the Justice League rewatch. On Mondays, you'll be getting the Avatar rewatch, and we're going to be starting Book 2 Earth. I am so freaking excited. Jared has never met Azula. Jared has never met Toph. Like, these are characters that I just cannot wait for him to meet and experience. And Book 2 is probably... Book 2, I feel like, is when the show really gets good, really finds its footing. So, yeah, it's going to be so good to get back into that world and like, have Jared... Because I made Jared a fan through season 1, so...
so we'll see what happens with this season. I'm excited.
All right, so I said my part.
Yeah. So on that note, yeah. But actually, hang on.
Oh, someone's trying to get.
I just had to type that out. But anyway, so okay, so again, Tuesdays just regular Justice League. But Mondays, you're all, and again, I'll share it out when it goes live on my channel, when it goes live on my community tabs and tweets. So in other words, you'll still be able to find it, even if you don't follow Nick, which I don't know why you don't, but that's besides the point. But on that note, everyone, I think it's a good place to leave it. So drop in the comments your thoughts on season 1 of Justice League. Actually, you know what? Before we log off, Nick, do you want to open up the panel for like 5 minutes to like see if anyone has any thoughts?
Sure.
All right. If anyone wants to come on briefly for 5 minutes each to discuss the season 1 or like this arc, that's totally fine. My only ask is that A, you keep it PG, and B, you keep it on topic. Because if you violate any one of these rules, I will remove you from the stream. I have to be strict on that because it's just, and keep it to 5 minutes. We'll time you. Don't worry.
So I can't start talking about bagels.
Yeah, you can't start talking about bagels. No, you can't, Nick. So DM me. I'll give you guys at least 5 minutes to DM me on Twitter. If not, we'll just call it.
All right.
So yeah, I do want a McFarlane action figure of the RoboCop Batman. I think that'd be really cool. I wonder if that exists.
Well, next time you see Todd, you can ask him.
You have to like cosplay as the RoboCop Batman. Yeah, okay, fun.
You can.
I'm going as Nightmare Batman. You kidding me? I'm not going as DCAU Batman. I'm going as the Batman that kills. All right, so we got Taladia and Tevia. So we got two people for 5 minutes each. So let's just go in. Oh, okay. Okay, so let me do this. 5 minutes each on Justice League. So Tevia Taladia got his in first, so it's going to go to Taladia first, and then we'll go to Tevia. So, boys, I have sent you the links, and that's what we got. So 5 minutes each. Just give us your thoughts on season 1 and the Savage time arc. So we're going to start with Taladia.
So you're taking care of time?
I'll take care of time. I got it. So just let me pull up my timer real quick, and then we can do that. All right. Alarm. Timer. 5 minutes. All right. Actually, since it's Taladia, I can go ahead and play his intro to bring him in.
All the hopes and dreams of Krypton live in you now.
Okay, Taladia, 3, 2, 1, go.
I love season 1. Season 1 is a great introduction of the Justice League. Um, Obviously, they first started off with Batman and Superman, and then they slowly introduced the other characters in the first 3 episodes. And with each episode that goes by, it just the storytelling gets better and better. And like for example, the Brightest Day
Yeah.
episode, the two-part, that is a great episode. And also with the Aquaman,
Mm-hmm.
uh what's it called, the Aquaman storyline
Mm-hmm.
that they had in Justice League season 1. That was interesting too because it made Aquaman really cool. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what Zack Snyder and that's what Zack Snyder based it off on.
Yeah, that was clearly the Momoa Aquaman.
Yeah. But what also intrigues me the most about this was the fact that they were the ending, the season 1 ending
Mm-hmm.
definitely interests me because I thought they were going to do 1 season, that was it. But no, they did 5 seasons. So I'm definitely very excited for the next season,
Mm-hmm.
which was season 2. I was at the time because I was watching this on TV. And if I was you guys, I'd highly, highly recommend watching this season. If you're just going into the DCAU and you want to skip the main two, which is Batman and Superman, and you want to just jump in Justice League, highly recommend starting off on Justice League season 1, so that way you can don't need to worry about anything else.
100%, because it's set up in such a way that you don't have to have watched the previous shows in order to understand what's going on in the show.
Yes.
It helps, but you don't have to.
Yeah, I mean it does help, but at the same time, it feels like if I was in other people's shoes, I would definitely go down the route of, okay, well, you want to know these characters like Wonder Woman, Green
Mm-hmm.
Lantern, Martian Manhunter. You just want to know their story. Justice
Mm-hmm.
League is the way to go.
Yep, pretty much. That's where
Be-
I started.
Because they're not in. I mean, Wonder Woman and Green Lantern, and I think it was Martian Manhunter, weren't in the Batman or Superman
Mm-mm.
cartoon series, but um, Aquaman, uh, Kyle Rayner, Green Lantern, and who else was that? And the Flash was in Superman the animated series.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, it's a great season, and if I had to rate this season, I would just say a solid 9, a solid 9 out of 10.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, that's pretty much what we gave it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm rewatching it again for the first time in a long time, so it's like on Netflix as well, by the way, because it is on Netflix. I'm gonna put this out there. It is on Netflix. If you guys haven't want to rewatch it, then all the Justice League episodes on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all.
100%. Or on HBO Max, or as it's known today, Max.
Max, yeah,
Which I saw at the interface is actually a lot better than HBO Max. So they did a good job
really.
with that.
Okay, you gotta show me that later.
I will. I'll show you it tonight when we do Superman and Lois.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking about Superman Lois, before we end,
Yes, yeah.
before I give it to you, guys, make sure you guys check out the Superman and Lois reaction that me and Jared are going to be doing. Very interesting.
Tonight. And by the way, Talada, before you go, this is for you.
Batman doesn't do ships.
Wonder Bat for life.
Screw you. By the way, I'm going to be using that clip for so many other shows, so be prepared.
I'm prepared. Don't worry. I got.
What about?
No, we lost
And I'm
connection
taking
to
over.
Nick. That's sad. I think we lost connection to Nick.
That was so worth it.
Sure it was.
So if you want to get Tempe in, I can hop out if you want me to.
All right. So we'll go with that. I'll see you tonight, brother.
All right. Thanks for having me on.
So once again, before I bring you on, remember everyone, keep it PG. You have 5 minutes. Keep it on topic. It can be anything about season 1 or the Savage time arc. However you want to do this. 3, 2, 1, go, Tavia. And you're muted, Tavia. I can't hear you.
Damn it. Yeah, stupid mic. Yeah. I love Justice League at the end. season 1. It's a good show. It's a great show. And season 1 was a good start to the season. Well, not strong actually as season 2, season 3 are strong, but did a good start for the great team. It set up the team at the great. And fun fact, Scott Snyder actually bought from the actual anime series. If you look at the lineup, it's the exact anime series.
Yeah, pretty much, except for like Aquaman and Cyborg. Yeah, it's pretty much that lineup, and the fact that the Flash is Barry instead of Wally.
Yeah, that's the only difference. But other than that, it's a great lineup, and I love this team after going up. And the fact that Scott Snyder bought from the anime series is amazing. It's awesome. Like but
it was me, Wally. It was me the whole time.
Yeah.
Yep. Indeed. Like the fact that actually this team actually down here, this was my first Justice League because prior actually to the show, I did not really count going up with Justice League team going up. Well, this show was actually my exposure to Justice League, and this is my favorite Jon Stewart, and this is why I love Jon Stewart after going as a kid. He's my favorite entrant into the show, and I love the story after we got. Whoa! I still made an underrated arc, super underrated. I don't get why people hate that arc. I don't get why.
They don't hate it. They just think it's like compared to the other ones. Think about the other arcs in this season, though.
Oh yeah, the Manhunter arc between Jon Stewart's good. The Wild West story with God, I like it. I say it's fun. But good God does become a recurrent villain, which makes sense. The Marvel story, I still like it, even though I know that, like in comparison, it's still a cool story. The first origin, the first story might have been at the auto meeting because it didn't with the White Martian. It dealt with another race of shapeshifters called the Imperium. I forget the name.
Okay, I know what you're talking about, but they're not called the Imperium. Their leader is called the Imperium.
Yeah, they lead the Imperium. Yeah. I
don't think they ever gave it a name, though.
No, they didn't. But it's actually a cool origin to set JWO, to think about it. Well, not the original villain, well, but you know what? It makes sense. And like Betty with Marvel did with the Chitauri for their story in Ultimates. It's very much this story done on Ultimate, but done better. Ultimate is a mess. I know we're on topic, but
no, it still works. Still works. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're kind of like this similar sort of, but it makes sense actually for this show. After the final arc, the final series, after the final episode, they're a great finale. It's a great finale to the show, to season 1. Except that okay, that's just episode B. It's a great ending to season 1. And it does sell out over the future. Now, one of my favorite arc of all these, I think it's a good arc. It's not my favorite. My favorite is season 2. I love season 2. But these were a good end to season 1. I love this show. It's amazing. And the Aquaman story is pretty cool. I love Aquaman. And so, technically speaking, this Aquaman is more from Peter David's 90s run. From Peter David's run.
Yeah, this is when they were trying to make Aquaman a badass.
Yeah, and I think this succeed.
That's why we have
Black Manta was not in the story, but in Ocean Master. But wait, why didn't you got Black Manta in this story?
I don't know.
Yeah, I got it.
Probably they were trying to make it. Let's just use one villain. They were trying to simplify the story.
True. They did at the end Deadshot though. I know Hugh at the end in that.
Yeah.
Arc.
Exactly.
Yeah. But overall, they did a good show. I find weaknesses. I got no weakness whatsoever. But all the stories are good. They're a good story. This show they called out what they would tell other characters in the future with Stack Shock, but that's not topic another day because technically okay with Jane Kudge. Okay, it does, but it said for unlimited. Not it's fun, but did the
more for that.
Well, I am sad when I did never get a reunion because I'm wondering what some boy I had to come in contact when it broke my heart. But other than that, I love the show and like I said, I love the season, and I can't wait to see you guys cover season 2. Actually, my rating, like 4.5 by side. It will be a 5, but I still made the season stronger. But it is good after them seeing.
Okay, that's cool. All right, it's every. We'll see you around, brother.
See ya.
All right. So basically, the general consensus is it's awesome. There are some places where it could improve, but still cool. So we'll go with that. So, Nick, where can everyone find you, and what have you got coming on your channel?
Well, as usual, you can find me on Twitter, search the Phoenix Press. Twitter, YouTube, just search the same. I got a pretty packed schedule for this week because tomorrow I'll be reacting to the PlayStation Showcase with Jared. I might have some.
I never, but I'm pretty sure I'm working that time. Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, I'm like, what?
Sorry, the other Jared.
Yes, exactly.
This is why we call him J Heat people.
Yes, exactly.
And then on Friday we'll be doing the movie that does not be named. And then
so it's the Avatar movie by M. Night Shyamalan.
I hate you. And then let's see here. I got Super Slipstream Brothers also is coming out on Wednesday. That's going to be that's actually a really good episode to record, I gotta say.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say we dial it up to 11.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's our destiny.
And we act like we're indie creators.
Oh, we are. We're just not ones that lecture 80-year-olds on like we're doing Indiana Jones talking Destiny. Let's just
Yes, save it for the episode.
Yeah, so that's gonna be really sweet, and yeah. So Jared, thank you for having me on.
Anytime. In terms of Comics League, on Wednesday we could do a live discussion about indie creating and stuff, but we're still gonna talk about what that is. In terms of Under Two Capes, we're gonna be talking about Amalgam Comics, and movie night is going to be Tron Legacy, and on Saturday I will be reacting to Nick Failing and Resident Evil. So
that will be so much fun.
It's gonna be really fun. So stay heroic, everyone, and remember,
Batman doesn't do ships.